Welcome to Persuade, the four-step process to influence people and decisions. We are delighted to have you join us for this engaging journey into the science and art of persuasion. Whether you're aiming to build stronger, more meaningful relationships, negotiate with confidence, or lead in your professional and personal life, this audiobook is designed to equip you with proven strategies to influence others with integrity. Throughout the coming chapters, expert negotiators Andres Lares and Jeff Cochran, alongside academic researcher Sean Deegan, will guide you through powerful, practical concepts rooted in psychology, decades of negotiation training, and timeless rhetorical principles. As you listen, you'll discover a repeatable four-step framework that will transform the way you approach influence and solidify your ability to affect the decisions and actions of those around you. As you embark on this exploration of credibility, emotional engagement, logical reasoning, and effective action, we invite you to reflect on your own experiences and think about the impact that your words and choices can have, both at work and beyond. Now, let's begin your journey to becoming a more persuasive, influential communicator. Key insights. One of the most common errors negotiators make is misjudging when they introduce logic in their attempts at persuasion. People typically decide based on feelings and use reasoning afterward to defend those choices. The best approach is to connect with emotions first, then introduce logic to support the decision. It's difficult to move people away from their own biases. Regardless of how illogical they may be, we prefer information that supports our own opinions and tend to dismiss or ignore anything that contradicts them. Gaining a true commitment to a decision from others is quite challenging. Understanding that your role is essentially to sell an idea brings you closer to successfully getting agreement. To create sustainable success, always act with honesty and integrity. Balance your interests with the needs of the other side. Always seek the truth, ensure mutual gains, and avoid causing harm. Overview. Whether your aim is to foster valuable relationships with clients, offer products to new customers, or strengthen your authority with your team or boss, there are plenty of resources on negotiation strategies. Yet before any strategy comes into play, it's vital to comprehend the thought process of the other party. In their book, Persuade, expert negotiators Andres Lares and Jeff Cochran, with Sean Deegan, shine a light on this often ignored essential aspect. Building on original research and reputable scientific studies, these authors thoroughly investigate how decisions are made and connect the steps of persuasion directly to the psychology of decision-making. The science and craft of influence and persuasion. Driven by either frustration or ambition, you may already know how crucial it is to be persuasive. But you might not realize that persuasion is structured around a core understanding of brain science. Philosophers and psychologists have explored persuasive communication for centuries, and their findings reveal just how profoundly human the process is. Once you grasp why people behave as they do, you can tap into the true potential of influence. Building blocks of persuasion and influence. Aristotle, centuries ago, defined three basic elements that remain the standard for persuasive language. 1. Ethos, establishing your character and credibility. 2. Pathos, stirring the emotions of your audience. 3. Logos, building rational arguments to appeal to reason. The model of influence and persuasion used by the authors merges Aristotle's classic framework with their own hands-on experience, instructing individuals and organizations, plus original research and impactful case studies. The end result is a model that's practical, actionable, and repeatable. Their influence and persuasion approach consists of four main stages. 1. Establish credibility. Build trust and show your expertise so that others are receptive to your ideas. 2. Engage emotions. Emotionally connect with the other party to shift their thinking and actions. 3. Present logic. Decisions are made with emotion, but justified with logic. 4. Encourage action. Even after a person agrees, it's up to you to ensure action is taken. How to build credibility. People naturally seek guidance from those in positions of authority when they need reliable information or trustworthy advice. Yet these exchanges aren't purely objective. Humans have emotional needs, such as admiration and being cared for by leaders. As a result, facts can lose their impact compared to the charisma or reputation of the person delivering them. Therefore, before laying out your argument, you must first establish trust and show you're an expert in your subject. Credibility, the power of trust and expertise. Similar to how leading companies work hard to build brands that foster loyalty, Apple earns repeat purchases by delivering ever-improving products. Coca-Cola wins trust by always tasting familiar. You also need to build loyal relationships with those you persuade. This is done by actively generating trust and providing meaningful, beneficial results to everyone involved. There are 4 primary ways to cultivate trust. 1. Form connections. People value common ground and shared interests. Spend time together, communicate frequently, show friendliness, and exchange personal anecdotes. 2. Offer value. Demonstrate that you add value to the relationship. Predict others' needs and willingly share your expertise and knowledge. 3. Show reliability. Others need evidence that you keep your promises. Consistently finish what you start, follow through on your commitments, and create situations where you can be counted on. 4. Balance self-interest. Your sincerity is measured against evident self-interest. Show genuine care and a readiness to make sacrifices for others. You can customize your actions to build trust, but you must also prove your expertise in ways that are relevant to the decision being made. To display expertise. 1. Recognize your areas of strength. Identify what activities attract you the most, what you excel at, and what kind of advice people often seek from you. These reveal your core areas of capability. 2. Declare your expertise. Tell both yourself and others about your skills. Confidence can be persuasive in itself. 3. Demonstrate your expertise. Join both professional and social conversations related to your fields of knowledge. 4. Build social credibility. Gain recognition through awards, certificates, degrees, or positive testimonials from others. 5. Emerge as a thought leader. You achieve this when people seek your opinion, invite you to consult, or request your expertise for high-profile industry opportunities. Tapping into emotions. Human beings are fundamentally driven by emotion. We make choices based on how we feel, then justify those decisions with logic after the fact. This concept applies just as much to ourselves as it does to those we hope to persuade. To use emotion effectively in your persuasion process, you have to manage your own emotions as well as those of others, ensuring you trigger the feelings that will lead to the decision you want. How to influence emotions. Within the model presented by the authors, 3 dominant emotions link closely to decision-making. 1. Aspiration for achievement. People are strongly motivated to succeed. Focus on creating positive feelings such as pride, fulfillment, and joy. 2. Fear of missing out. This feeling is the modern equivalent of survival instincts. Address and calm these fears, while also fostering relief and a sense of rescue. 3. Sense of fairness. Most people strive to be fair, leading them to feel guilt or a sense of reciprocity if they aren't. Foster self-esteem and a recognition of responsibility. Handling emotions well requires you to observe when and how emotions appear, then skillfully direct them to bring about the desired outcome. These abilities are closely linked to emotional intelligence, which is made up of 4 traits. 1. Self-awareness. Being able to notice and define your emotions gives you an advantage in negotiations. Describing your feelings in words helps you see them objectively and reduces their immediate impact. 2. Self-management. Reducing the intensity of your emotions is helpful, but being able to channel and control both positive and negative emotions is truly skillful. 3. Social awareness. Picking up on verbal and nonverbal signals lets you ease concerns and enhance positive emotions in those around you. 4. Relationship management. With emotional intelligence, you can calm down, course correct, or restore peace in challenging situations. Using stories effectively. Stories stand out as a persuasive tool because they linger in the mind longer than raw facts alone. By providing relatable context and connecting emotionally, stories explain why your audience should care about your message. Well-constructed and relevant stories can steer listeners toward the emotions that will help you achieve your objective. Identify the messages you need to repeat frequently, then develop a collection of stories that clarify and reinforce those points. Practice telling these stories with colleagues until you can deliver them fluently. Often, a compelling story is far more memorable than a collection of slides or a meeting summary. Crafting scripts. It is extremely beneficial to develop a script for your negotiation or project. Use Cicero's 5 principles of effective rhetoric to construct it. 1. Invention. Brainstorm and capture every point, argument, and potential counterargument. Writing these down ensures you cover all important steps and are clear in your approach. 2. Arrangement. Organize your material persuasively, working in the techniques of ethos, pathos, and logos, while adhering to the 4-step persuasion method. 3. Style. Tailor the language, tone, and delivery method to your specific audience. 4. Memory. Incorporate elements that make your script easy to remember. 5. Delivery. Decide on the ideal timing, environment, and manner of every key interaction. After you've designed your script, rehearse until you are confident presenting all parts. Set up processes to consistently and promptly follow up with your audience. Also, accept feedback from your colleagues to further refine your message. Presenting logic and reasoning. Many people begin with logical arguments when trying to persuade, but research suggests this is not effective. The first step should always be building trust, followed by appealing to emotions. At that point, logic can play its part. Logical reasoning lets people feel validated in their emotional choices, making those decisions seem rational and defensible. When the other side genuinely believes you have their best interests at heart, your logical case will only further convince them that your offer is the right one. The effect of pre-existing beliefs. A major reason logic often doesn't sway people is the strong pull of previously held beliefs. We have an innate need to feel right, so we naturally lean toward any information that confirms our existing viewpoints and ignore or even reject facts that challenge them, even if our beliefs are unfounded. Everyone is prone to this belief bias. Nonetheless, there are several ways to minimize its effects on both yourself and others, such as extending the decision-making process, practicing an open-minded approach, and consulting with a trustworthy advisor or neutral party. Making your logic persuasive. When you judge the time right to introduce logic, use methods such as clearly outlining the natural and logical outcomes of a choice, using the if, when, then, because structure. The because provides reasoning, making the final decision more convincing to the brain. Providing social proof. When uncertain, people look to others for affirmation and guidance. Supplying documented evidence. Share supporting materials like white papers, case studies, testimonials, and any awards to showcase your value and reinforce your argument. Helping others take action. Convincing the other party to act is often the biggest challenge in the persuasion process. This step demands an important realization. Persuading is inherently similar to selling. By shifting to a sales mentality, polishing your pitch, concentrating on the satisfaction of others, and persistently pressing until the outcome is secured, you can boost the likelihood of turning agreement into real action. Soft approaches and direct approaches. Soft closes rely on non-committal, open-ended questions to clarify what the other party wants, uncover and resolve hesitations, and guide them gently toward a positive decision. Mastery in persuasion means you must ask insightful questions and listen much more than you speak. On the other hand, hard closes are direct requests or statements and should only be used when you're quite sure what the response will be. Preparation is key. Create a sense of urgency to provoke action. Urgency leverages the emotional force of fear, the most powerful motivator of all. You can create urgency by making the time available to act short, restricting the supply of what you offer, or presenting a compelling reward for acting quickly. However, only set urgency when it is genuine. Once established, you cannot retract it without losing credibility. Mastering timing and setting. Aristotle also referenced kairos, or the supreme importance of choosing the right moment. Every phase, and especially the moment of the close, requires you to select not just the right approach, but also the ideal timing and place, and to know your audience well enough to judge when they're most susceptible to persuasion. Making the most of body language. When done smoothly and without being obvious, mimicking another person's physical gestures, posture, and even language can foster a sense of connection. Most emotion is communicated not in words, but by the way we move and behave. Becoming adept at reading these nonverbal cues helps you understand other states of mind and shift their feelings as needed. Personality traits and influence. There are 5 recognized personality traits you can observe to tailor your approach. Openness to new experiences, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. Being aware of how these dimensions show up can guide your persuasion strategy. For instance, creative people need room for innovation. Those who value conscientiousness appreciate displays of capability, and those prone to anxiety require less risk. Conclusion. Thank you for listening to Persuade, the 4-step process to influence people and decisions. We hope you leave this audiobook feeling empowered, insightful, and better prepared to inspire positive decisions in every sphere of your life. Remember, effective persuasion is not only about achieving your objectives, but also about building trust, maintaining integrity, and creating value for everyone involved. By consistently applying the 4-step process, building credibility, engaging emotions, demonstrating logic, and facilitating action, you'll foster deeper understanding, forge lasting relationships, and guide others towards meaningful outcomes. The skills and concepts you've learned here are timeless and practical, able to serve you in conversations with colleagues, clients, friends, and family. Continue to practice and refine your approach, and you'll notice the difference in both your personal satisfaction and your professional success. On behalf of Andres Laras, Jeff Cochran, Sean Deegan, and everyone involved in creating this audiobook, thank you once again for joining us. We wish you all the best as you put the principles of persuasion into action in your own world.